Hello and welcome to Byju's IAS. We are joined by four Civil Services Examination 2019 toppers. We have with us Ms. Pratibha Verma, All India Rank 3, Ms. Nupur Goyal, All India Rank 11. We have Shresht Anupam, All India Rank 19, and Abhishek Jain, All India Rank 24. Welcome to Byju's and thank you for joining us. Let me start with you, Ms. Nupur Goyal. This was your sixth attempt, your last attempt. I have two specific questions for you. Is it worth it spending and devoting 7 to 8 years of your youth chasing a dream? And question number two, what kept you going?
Uh, so, answering to the first question in particular, yes, it's totally worth it. Although the results have just been declared and I have not been into services, but seeing the pride in the parents, in the eyes of my parents, and watching everyone around me celebrating, the teachers, the mentors, feeling proud of being associated with me, and sir, getting a chance to actually live my dream and being able to serve and give back to the society from which we are taking on a regular basis. Uh, I think it's totally worth it. And very interestingly, this was one of the questions which I used to ask a few selected friends of mine, whether because of all the sacrifices, all the pain that go in the journey, that is it worth it? Please tell me, is it really worth it? Is it worth it to give one more year to the preparation? And then I always used to get the answer that yes, it is worth it. It is worth all the pain, all the sacrifices, all the hard work. And yes, one must put into all the patience and perseverance that it takes and it demands from all of us. Coming to the second question, what kept me going? I think getting into civil services is not an individual dream. It's a dream which is seen collectively by one's parents, by the family, by the friends, by even all the people which we come across, be it the newspaper guy who delivers the newspapers on a daily basis, be it the dairy men जो हर रोज आके हमें दूध सप्लाई करते हैं या फिर हमारी हर रोज की ग्रोसरी का ध्यान रखते हैं. तो इट इज समथिंग जहाँ जिसके अंदर सबका कंट्रीब्यूशन जुड़ा होता है. तो आई थिंक ऑल ऑफ देम केप्ट मी गोइंग through all the phases of whether they are ups or downs, lows and highs, everything. So apart from that, the self belief that yes, I can be amongst the team India, I can be a part of it. It was also one of the major thing that kept me going, sir.
I always believe that there are two sets of aspirants. Anybody can clear this exam, but one set is somebody who persists, and there is another group who just gives up. You are a motivation for those who want to prepare for this exam, but somehow, some way or the other, they just give up on their dream. What would you like to tell those who have given up? And hearing you, they might want to start the preparation again.
So there's just one thing which I want to tell them. If I can do it, despite of it being my last attempt, and I have been through all the pain that they are right now going through. There are many moments when even I felt that I should give up. Maybe I'm not meant for this. Maybe this is something very big I'm not meant for, and I can't achieve it. But believe me, in the end, just keep moving forward. आप दौड़ नहीं सकते हैं तो चलिए, चल नहीं सकते हैं तो रेंगिए, but just keep moving. Just try to give your 100 and 120%. So just make sure that in spite of the result, in spite of the success or the failure that one gets in the journey, there should be a satisfaction in the end कि सुबह उठ के या रात को सोते हुए अच्छा हमने आज पूरे दिन में अच्छा काम किया. So I think this is the thing which should be there. Giving up on one own self can't be the solution, because this is a journey which is all about our own improvement. It gives us a lot. It makes us more mature, more aware, more responsible in nature. So I think UPSC journey is the one जो हमें तराश रही होती है। और यहाँ गिव अप करने का मतलब है कि आप अपने ऊपर, खुद के ऊपर गिव अप कर रहे हैं। आप अपनी लाइफ के हीरो बनने से कतरा रहे हैं या नहीं बनना चाह रहे हैं। So I think one should never give up as long as you think that you can become an IAS officer. So in spite of all the roadblocks, in spite of all the failures, please keep moving. Please keep giving your 100, 120, 150%. Just make sure that you are doing your best in spite of the results. And I'm very sure कि सर वो एक ना एक दिन तो भगवान को भी सुनना ही पड़ता है, और आप पूरा यूनिवर्स को कंस्पायर करना ही पड़ता है कि वो आए, वो ठीक करे, हमारे हिसाब से सारी चीजें एक साथ अलाइन करे.
Maybe they should
So,
read Alchemist.
yes, sir.
Shrestha, your father was also a civil services aspirant. Your mother could not appear in this exam. When she realized that you have cleared this exam, that too with a good rank, I want to know her specific reaction to that.
So I will describe the exact scene in detail. So I was with my sister in another room when the results came out. And when I saw, my parents were, just lying down after having breakfast. So when I came and I told them that, Mummy and Papa, I have got 19th rank. So they literally just, they jumped out of the bed. And my mom, she immediately went to we have a small puja house in our home. So my mom, she immediately went to the puja house and she, just folded her hands and she was saying so many prayers. God, you finally heard my prayers and everything.
Without asking you first.
That was her initial first reaction. She's always, she's a very great believer. She has always been a worshipper of Lord. And she just went to, the puja house and she was like, thank you, God, for everything. And then after that, it was like, they hugged me. My father, his first reaction was to hug me. My papa's first reaction was that. And then my mom came and then they both hugged me and it was such a joyous moment.
Great. Ms. Pratibha Verma, All India Rank 3.
Yeah.
Has it sunk in yet?
Yes, after all the calls I had received and finally DOPT called me for the felicitation, then I knew, okay, it is me. It is now confirmed that this is true. So I would like to start with just a bit of story, with a bit of background. So when I was writing my 2019 CSC mains, I had very poor health. So I got admitted into the hospital just after the ethics paper. So there are 5 days of gaps between GS and mains paper. And I was admitted in hospital for 2 days. Then I had given up completely that, okay, my optional is going to hell, it is going down and I won't be able to probably even clear this examination. So I told everyone in my family, don't have any hopes with me for this year. So when I was in lockdown, I was staying with my family. My interview was yet to happen. Even before that lockdown happened, so my mom used to come to me every night and she used to tell me, don't worry, you will clear it this time. So I used to tell her, please don't trouble God. He has to take care of so many people right now. My rank does not matter this year. Even if I don't get anything, I have IRS with me. I'll be happy. So don't worry about this. My mom was the only person who believed that I would be able to clear it. I had given up on me at that time that I will probably have to appear for the next examination and I was mentally preparing for that. Then interview happened on 28th of July after lockdown was lifted, and unfortunately I wasn't with my parents that day. I was staying with my sister. So when the results came out, I and my sister were sitting staring at the laptop window. What has happened? My sister and we both were literally shouting, how can this happen? It is not possible. This cannot happen after all these things I went through. And then we called our mom and we told her, and she was the only person who said, I knew this will happen. I knew how much hard work you have put into it. And then she called my father. She told her, Suniya, aapki beti ne top kar diya hai. And this was the line when I heard on the phone. It was that moment when I finally this feeling sunk in, okay, this has happened, that I've gotten rank 3. I've actually achieved this. Something that probably I never dreamt of getting into top 10. But when this happened, I realized that actually this hard work, this persistence with which I was continuously putting myself through all of this, it has actually given me the results. And this is what is required for this examination. I I first of all would like to congratulate Nupur how beautifully and gracefully she has summarized all of the things that we go through. This really happens, and I can totally relate to what she had felt, though I did not give that many attempts. But for this attempt particularly, I actually went through a lot of highs and lows, and it was a really difficult year for me. And after that, when the results came out, then I realized, okay, hard work really pays off. There is no substitute of hard work when you want to achieve something in any field of life, not just UPSC. I've seen people working really hard to succeed in corporate, in businesses, in politics, in sports. So people are putting so much effort into what they want to achieve. Same thing goes on here, and we are just trying to do that.
And it was during this lockdown period that you rejoined social media. How did that help?
Yes, because we were deprived of any kind of social attachment or social interaction. And basically, what happened was that since there was no news coming out, we were deprived of entertainment as well. So, social media actually gave a lot of relief with whatever was going on. And honestly, I had not touched Facebook, Twitter, Instagram for last 4 or 5 years. I was not in touch with my friends. So that was the time when we started talking. We started having video calls with our friends who we probably did not talk for a year or so, friends from our college, our schools. So I had to get in touch with them because we had nothing else to do actually. And motivation for studying at that time was really low because there was so much uncertainty. There were no dates when interviews were going to happen, when the next prelims is going to happen. So that was the time when I thought there is actually no harm if I join social media again.
Staying with entertainment, we have Abhishek Jain, a Netflix buff. How did Netflix help you clear this exam?
So we can attribute our success to anything, including Netflix. So for me, I felt that though I prepared for almost 2.5 or 3 years, my journey has been comparatively short, but even a single attempt feels a very long one. So keeping up the motivation in this for such a long time becomes very difficult. So for me, I used to take out at least 1 hour per day in which I will not think about studying. I will do anything except studying. So I will usually watch Netflix or go out to play badminton, and this kept me up. This kept me motivated, and because we need to have sustainable study during this time. If we overburden ourselves, we'll just black out. I used to do that initially. I used to overburden myself, continuously studying for days, and I just used to get blacked out. And then I would have to take a break of 2-3 days. So instead of doing this and just going through so much stress and anxiety, it is better to have a cooling off period per day. So things like Netflix or maybe going out with your friends, this really helped me out, and that I can say that Netflix indirectly helped me clear this exam.
Great. Ms. Pratibha, you were reading 3 newspapers a day. Now, there are civil services aspirants who are short of words. First, they don't know which newspaper to read, how to read it, how to make notes, and on top of that, how to revise. And here you are reading 3 newspapers a day. Is it necessary?
I would like to clarify, I was reading 3 newspapers a day only for the interview preparation. On a daily basis, just when prelims was happening or for the mains, I was just reading 1 newspaper, and that is enough. For interview, I had to read 3 newspapers. First, because I had a lot of time, and because I was in lockdown, I had a lot of time. I was going through 3 newspapers. Secondly, 1 newspaper completely relating to business and economy was important for me because of my background in private sector work. Telecom was going through a lot of ups and downs, and especially it took up during the lockdown because of the data usage. So there was actually a lot of things, lot of shifts happening in the corporate world. It was important for my background. Secondly, I was in IRS. So from the point of view of macroeconomy, mobilization of resources, which are actually asked in the interview, it was important for me to go through all that. So 3 newspapers a day were a necessity for me because of my background particularly. I have seen people who have cleared, who have gotten really good marks in interview with one newspaper also. So it is not absolutely necessary. It depends upon your own particular situation. And for mains and prelims, I just read one newspaper, maximum for one up to 1.5 hours. And I did not used to prepare notes from the newspaper because everything important gets covered into the monthly magazine that comes out. You can refer to any good magazine, that will be enough.
Okay. Ms. Nupur Goyal, public administration as an optional. Now, here is an aspirant, and he or she comes to you with an advice. Should I take public administration as an optional? What would you tell him?
So choosing an optional is something which is very individualistic in nature. So one should always go for an optional in which one is having interest in. So I would firstly suggest, please don't take my advice. I'm not the right person to give you any advice, and that too with regard to the choice of optionals, because this is something which is to be done by the aspirant himself or herself based on the interest and inclination towards that subject. Sir, for knowing whether one is having interest in it or not, I think there is some basic material which is available online as well as offline. One can go through the same and find out whether one is developing an interest in it. So, sir, because an optional paper is a very important paper. It comprises of like 500 marks. And having public administration is no doubt having a lot of advantages. It has a lot of overlaps with GS paper 2, 4, 3 to some extent, as well as the essay paper is there also, in which public administration can help. But one should always choose the optional paper based on their own inclination and interest, rather than listening to any topper, or rather than going for any such advice. It is a decision that should be taken by himself or herself, because we don't want that comment to come to us later कि आपने कहा था तो मैंने ले लिया, अब मेरे नंबर नहीं आ रहे, अब ये कुछ नहीं हो रहा. Because ultimately it's
public administration. Would you dissuade somebody from taking this option?
No, sir. It's actually the bread and butter of the administration. As an administrator, all we have to do is to do the public administration. So having a public administration would actually give us an edge. Sir, I think if I'm not wrong, public administration is one of the subjects which is taught to us in Labasna also. And even after getting selected or after becoming an IAS officer, there are so many programs and lectures being done in public administration for all the IAS, IPS officers over there. So I would never dissuade anyone from taking public administration, but again, it must be taken based on their own choices.
Shresht, is there a requirement for a plan B? If IAS, UPSC, CSE doesn't happen, should I fall back upon plan B? And what should that plan B be?
Sir, I believe that this is again a very individual decision. For myself, I did not have a plan B. So while during my college days itself, I had opted out of internship, I had opted out of placement, because I was very clear that I had to appear for the civil services examination. When I could not clear the prelims during my first attempt in 2018, some of my friends advised me to appear for the RBI Grade B examination, and I did appear for it, though I could not clear it in the final stage. So I believe that it depends on the situation, it depends on the number of attempts, it depends on the various conditions you are going through. Like, if you have been preparing for 3 to 4 years, and there are various type of situations, financial constraints, family environment, whether you are preparing from home or from outside. So there are various conditions and situations that direct whether you should have a plan B or not. At what time should you have a plan B? What should that plan B be? So I believe that all these factors need to be taken into consideration, and because they vary from every candidate to candidate, so it's a very individual decision.
So somebody having a plan B, does it not make failure acceptable?
I would say no. Plan B, again, as I said, it varies from person to person, and having a plan B in many cases can actually give you a reinvigorated boost for the preparation. UPSC, the civil services examination, is such an examination wherein even if you put your entire efforts, the hard work there may be times when the hard work does not pay off. Like we have Nupur with us. She cleared it in her 6th attempt. It's not like she was not deserving to clear the examination in her earlier attempts. It's just that sometimes luck does not favor us. Sometimes there are things which don't go our way. So I believe that because success and failure in this examination is not entirely dependent on hard work. So sometimes having a plan B can actually help you, because it can give you that boost of success. It can give you that motivation. It can give you that, I would say, assurance that even if you fail, there is something that can hold you back, and that can actually give you a further push that can take you on the path of success, I would say.
Abhishek, from Hansraj College to Labasana, did you also study 24 hours a day?
Is it humanly possible to study 24 hours a day?
That's what we read.
I don't think so. I mean, for me, I would just be honest. I used to study 8 to 10 hours per day. And I don't know if anyone can do that 24 hours a day study. But again, as I said earlier, it is a long period. It's not just a short race, it's a marathon. And we need to study not just for a very short period of time, but it takes 2 to 3 years minimum to prepare for this exam and clear it. So in my opinion, a sustainable study program should be is the way forward. For me, it was 8 to 10 hours. For people, it might differ. For some, they can study for 10 to 12 hours. For some, even 6 to 8 hours are fine. But in my opinion, it's not just about the quantum of study, but the quality of study you put in. So if you are chasing so many resources, many of them are just garbage, and you are spending hours and hours on them, it's not worth it. Even if you spend 12, 13 hours on them, you will not gain anything for this particular exam. So in my opinion, a person should focus more upon quality of study, the quality of material you are putting in. Also, it is not just about study, it's about practice too. So while studying, you should also have application of knowledge in the form of test series, both for prelims and mains. So if you just manage your time in such a way that you are able to distribute it for everything in a proper manner, that will help you more rather than worrying about how many hours I should put in for this.
Okay. Ms. Nupur, what is the ideal time that an aspirant should start thinking about answer writing?
Sir, it depends on individual to individual, but I think there is no ideal time for the same. When one thinks that he or she is comfortable with the syllabus, one is having a basic idea, rough idea about
Aspirant may never be comfortable with this.
Sir, in that case, if the aspirant is never feeling comfortable, then one should start writing as soon as he or she does 1 to 2 readings of the syllabus, or 1 to 2 readings of the basic material that he or she has finalized for his own self. Sir, especially I have seen people between prelims and mains contemplating of when to start answer writing. In that case, I think that whenever one is writing prelims, right after the day of the prelims, within a week, he or she must give 1 or 2 papers so that they get into the writing mode directly. So, but for the people who are attempting for the next year, I think after mains this year, or say after February or March, one must have the habit of writing, because it's actually the mains which comprises of 1750 marks, and which is the major portion of getting selected. We have to just qualify in the prelims, and interview is more about the personality development. It's actually the mains and the answer writing on which we can focus upon. So, but at the same time, one shouldn't just keep on writing for the sake of writing. One should always go back, analyze their own answers, and then improve upon the same.
How do you analyze your answers?
So after a week of doing the answer writing, I actually used to do the answer writing on a daily basis as well as on a weekly basis. I used to attempt the test on a weekly basis, and I used to write 3 to 4 questions on a daily basis. So on a Sunday or maybe on Monday, whichever day I have finalized for myself, I used to go back to my answers of the previous week, and I used to think what else could have could I have written in that answer, or how better I could have presented that answer. So I think that helped a lot. Getting direction from the teachers, from the mentors, from the friends who are preparing, as well as from the friends who are already been in the services. They also help, sir. Getting to see the toppers copies, which is also available today. They also help because we get to know, okay, this is the way in which we could have presented our answer, or see her answers are looking more presentable in nature. So this is something which we can incorporate in our answers. So I think this is the strategy which worked for me.
Ms. Pratibha, the importance of a daily routine. Is it necessary to follow a routine, or you can just simply get up in the morning and decide whatever you want to do?
Absolutely, it is very important to follow daily routine. Abhishek had used two very good words. One is sustainable preparation schedule and quality of study. I think these two cannot come without a daily routine or a monthly or a yearly plan. You should have a schedule what you're going to do. If you don't have a vision in your mind, how are you going to implement it? If you wake up every day and you don't have a plan with you, it is highly likely that you will postpone your study. You will not properly arrange everything that you have to study. And this preparation is all about organizing your studies well, having a structured preparation. That is very important. Without that, you cannot cross all these three stages. It requires a lot of hard work, a rigorous study, and that cannot come without a routine, that cannot come without a proper plan with you. I have been suggesting people that a number of people have come to me asking that I cannot sit down and study for 10 hours. And I have a plan that I have to finish the book in a week and I'm not able to do it. So I have been telling them that your mind is playing games with you. If you have to finish it in a day, then you have to allot per hour that you have to finish this chapter in an hour. You have to create hourly plans sometimes. When you're, for example, when you're very close to the exams, we need to have hourly plans as well. So it is a lot about your time management, and that does not come without daily routine. So it is absolutely necessary for us, for any aspirant out there, to have a proper plan, vision, and a routine.
Shresth, one book per subject or multiple books per subject? How do you concise your sources?
I would say, unless absolutely necessary, always stick to a single source for every subject. This is primarily because, there are so many subjects in the civil services preparation. If we take all the phases into consideration, the prelims phase, the mains phase, there are 4 GS papers. Each GS paper comprises at least 3 to 4 subjects. There is the essay paper. There are the optional subjects in which, you have to study so many books or so many sources. So I would say always stick to a single source unless it's absolutely necessary, or the other source is a complete value add without which you would lose out some marks in the examination. And in order to concise your sources, what you can do is that once you have finished the reading of a particular book or a particular source, you can always, after a span of 1 or 2 days, you can always revise it. And it is helpful because what happens is that when we, after reading a particular source, when we switch to another source, or when we switch to another subject, without referring to what we have read or without revising it, what happens is that after 10 days or let's say a month, it would feel as if we are reading it again from the very beginning. Like our retention would reduce drastically, and that is the reason why people switch between so many subjects, so many books. Like that is one of the reasons. First of all, it's like we don't have confidence in a particular source. We feel that source is not sufficient for our needs. And second is that because we keep on switching so many subjects, we keep on switching between so many sources, we are never entirely retaining what we have read earlier. And that is one of the reasons behind this. So I would advise that have a proper routine plan, have a proper revision plan so that you can implement it. And, keep going through the same source again and again. If you want, you can make short notes out of it. And once you see that you have gone through it 4 to 5 times, you'll automatically find that you are able to retain not only the broader print, but also the finer details, which you will be able to reproduce in the examination. So I believe that a single source with multiple revisions would be the key.
Great. Abhishek, what would you recommend for current affairs? You seem to be very strong in current affairs.
Basically, I would recommend reading at least one newspaper So
Which-
as you can go for anyone, the Hindu or the Indian Express. Again, as Pratibha had earlier mentioned, that your current affairs and your preparation will depend upon your own subject. So if you are an economics optional, or for me, I had a commerce optional, so I had to go for one business newspaper as well, some aspects of it. So it depends upon your particular preparation. Apart from it, I did not used to make any notes from the newspaper because most of those things are again covered in the monthly current affairs magazines. So apart from it, you can also go for any current affair magazine or any government magazine like Yojana, etc., which will help you cover several areas in mains also. If you do not want to go for paper material, there are lots of online material available today, and there are several websites which cover current affairs in a very detailed manner, analyzing them both from prelims as well as mains perspective. So if you want, you can also refer to them. But again, as Shrestha had mentioned, you should limit your sources. Going for multiple magazines, multiple newspapers again and again will not serve the purpose. Rather, sticking to limited sources and revising them again and again will help you much, much more than anything else.
So you're reading a newspaper, but you're not making notes of the newspaper. Then what's the point in the reading a newspaper?
The point is to follow the news continuously. So many times, suppose there is an issue regarding Article 370. What will happen in reading the newspaper is you will read several eminent personalities talking about them. You will read opinions, then counter opinions, and you will be able to form your own opinion based on that. Similarly, in case of newspapers, you will find many facts, many committee names, many report names. You can jot them down anywhere and you can use them in your mains answer, which will enrich your answer and help you out in that. So following news continuously is very important because ultimately, when you read the current affair magazine, you will know the basic news. You will just be revising it from there.
Ms. Nupur, strategy for revision. You read once, it is as if you have never read it, but you'll have to do multiple revisions, maybe 5, 6, 7 times. What is the best strategy for revision?
Sir, I here and want to give a disclaimer, not from my own side, but from my fellow friends also, that please don't copy our strategy. Please don't blindly go for what we have done because that strategy helped us. It helped us clear the exam. It might or might not work for you. So please get inspired from our strategy, but don't copy them blindly. Sir, coming to the question regarding the revision and the best number of revisions that one can have. Sir, it depends on person to person. I have seen people who go for just 2 to 3 revisions and they clear the exam. And I have also seen people who have to resort to like 7 to 8 revisions per subject, per book, and then they clear the exam. So I think so. Whenever the person feels comfortable and reproducing whatever one has read in the newspapers from her or his own notes, from the books one has referred in the mains, prelims, as well as in the interview stage. I think that many number of revisions are enough. So whenever you feel you are comfortable, you can stop revising, you can stop doing the studying. But sir, as a very average student or as a I think one should just keep on revising as long as we have time in hand. So doing a revision is would never hurt us. That's my relation.
COVID-19 pandemic has changed the world.
Yes, sir.
We don't know whether for permanent or it's only for time being. There are lakhs of aspirants who would want to travel to Delhi, join a coaching institute maybe, but now all these plans have been disrupted. Classrooms are not going to start anytime soon. When they're going to start, we don't know. And even then, the aspirants and their parents would also be apprehensive. What would you suggest to these aspirants now, after COVID-19 or during COVID-19? How should they plan? Pratibha?
I would like to highlight 2-3 points here in my own personal experience in this regard. So even last year, the female topper Shrishti Jayanti Deshmukh, she had prepared from her home itself. She did not come to Delhi. So it is not like people have not top this examination from even before it has happened. So even now it will continue to happen. Secondly, when I was preparing for interview, I was at home. I attended all my mock interviews online. I went through the classes online. So with obviously people have highlighted with in this digital era with ICT connectivity, it is not impossible to prepare from home. This preparation is all about motivation, strategy, discipline, and hard work. It does not matter where you are. Even if you're at home and you have this kind of persistence and discipline, you can do it. Coming to Delhi has sort of become a ritual. So everyone who thinks of starting this preparation automatically comes to Delhi because they think this is where it happens. And in last few years, it has happened also. But as every processes go through creative destruction, with something like this happens. So the older methods are replaced by newer methods. And we were already referring to a lot of online content. We were referring to a lot of YouTube videos when we were preparing for this examination. And personally, I've seen a number of people who had not even attended a formal coaching for that matter. And now even the coaching industry is rediscovering themselves. They are trying to provide all the resources online. So it is an individual choice what they have to do. But this thing that Delhi has an importance with respect to CSC preparation will be fading away. I'm pretty sure that this year, CSC 2020, a number of toppers, a number of students will come out, share their journey, and they will say that they have prepared from their home because of the situation that is there. So when this is going to happen, even next year, a number of students will think about doing from their home itself. So this process is all about innovation, creative destruction that is going to happen in CSC preparation as well.
So we are running out of time now. Last few comments from all of you. One word of advice for 2020 aspirants, beginning with Abhishek.
So just stay motivated, follow limited resources, revise as much as you can, and practice as much tests for both prelims and mains as much as you can. This is the basic advice that, I'm sorry?
Stay away from Netflix.
that's again a very personal choice.
Great. Shresht?
I would say stay positive, stay motivated. This is an exam wherein not only our hard work or patience, but our mental fortitude is also tested. And these are especially trying times due to the corona pandemic which is out there. So stay positive. There are people out there who are struggling. Take motivation from your family, from your peer group, and always believe in yourself. Despite whatever your past performances have been, whether you have been successful, whether you have failed, always believe that this is a fresh start. Every step is a new step towards a journey. And remain positive, remain motivated, and you will clear the examination.
Pratibha?
Well, they have already told what the crux of this is going to be. So there are just 15 days to the prelims. So the only thing that matters right now is revising what you have earlier and practicing a number of tests so that you can get comfortable with the examination process. So this is all about revision and practice now, and stay motivated. This year has been particularly hard for a lot of aspirants out there. There is a lot of uncertainty even now with respect to what is going to happen. But as we move forward, we have to remember that our goal, that your goal, all the aspirants out there, that your goal is to become an IAS. And if you are pursuing a worthy goal, you need to put that much effort into it. So stay committed to your goal, and everyone, I'm pretty sure that whoever continues on their path, whoever continues with their strategy will succeed in this examination.
These are hard times. Maybe UPSC will be soft on them. Final word.
So for the people who are attempting this year itself, I would like to advise. So I think all of my friends have covered almost everything. I would just like to advise one thing. Please practice wearing mask while you attempt the papers now, because you will have to wear the mask in the examination hall. Please take care of your health as well as your family's health. So for the people who will be going to attempt next year or the years afterwards, I have just one advice: dream your biggest. There is no limit to what you can dream. Work your hardest. there should not be a single other more hardworking person you know about. You must be the most hardworking person in the room. And so sky is the limit. Or I would say there's no limit to anything, and be your greatest. So thanks a lot.
Thank you so much, all of you, for joining us. All the best wishes for a successful career. May
Thank
you
you.
respect the
Thank you.
constitution and respect the people.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much. All the best.
Thank you.